Hello everybody, this is Scott from Hesperia Fitness Center with Corporate Fitness Works. Thanks for joining me today. You're here for Strictly Strength. This is our strength block for our training class today, so hope you guys are ready to work. We're going to go through our warm-up and our sets. Before we get started, just want to let you guys know what equipment we need today. So you'll see behind me I've got a mat. We'll do plenty of stuff on our mat for our core and some strength building as well. I've got 2 sets of dumbbells today. I've got a heavier pair and then another pair that's a little bit lighter, so we can mix up those weights when we need to. And you'll also see that I've got a deck with some risers here with me. If you don't have a deck, we're really only going to use those for one exercise today, so don't worry if you don't have a deck. We can just modify it and take this from the floor. We'll do some bridging on that. Another option would be for you to use the front of your couch, or if you have a nice ottoman or an armchair or something like that that you can use to rest your shoulders and back on. That'll be a great height. So play with that around, see if you have something that you can use. We'll also be using the wall to support ourselves today a little bit, so hopefully you have a wall or at least something that, again, you can use the back of an armchair. Anything that you can prop a hand on to get a little bit of stability while we do some single leg training today will be great. So if you don't have the riser, we'll make it work. Just work best with me. We'll coach you through that as we go. So we're going to utilize a timer today for most of our exercises. Will be 45 seconds on and 15 seconds off as we go through our circuits. We will drop that to a 40-20 timer at one point. So follow along with me. We're going to get through these rounds as best we can. We're going to go ahead and get started with a warm-up here very quickly once we get our timer situated. And then we're going to take it away from there. So our first block will be body weight only. We're going to start nice and light, get our body woken up, get some blood flow into the muscles, and take it from there. And then we're going to work on into our heavy compound block with our bigger weights, and we'll finally go into a unilateral chunk where we're using single leg at a time. We'll do everything on one side of our body. We'll do 4 rounds of that. We'll do left side and right side. We'll flip back to the left and right once again. So lots to work on today. We're going to go ahead and take it away here in just a second. As soon as we get started, we're going to get that light warm up in and then start with body weight. So we have plenty of time to get loose and get the juices flowing and start getting pumped up, right? So we're going to start with our warm up today. We're going to do a march with a pull down. So arms are up above our head. As we alternate our steps, we pull and tuck elbows into our side. So make sure we get a good squeeze in our back and our shoulder blades. And we want to drive up and hold that knee up in that high place to make sure we get those hip flexors fired up as well. So we're going to get about 16 reps total of this. We're approaching halfway right now. So keep it up, keep pulling those elbows down, get a big squeeze in our lats and shoulder blades, and drive that knee up to start waking up these hips, right? So let's get one more on each side. There's 1 and 2. Nicely done. So starting to feel loose in the shoulders, right? Starting to get these hips woken up. We're going to go ahead and do 3 inchworms with our world's greatest stretch. That's where we step up into that tall plank position and twist up one arm on each side. Make sure we get that nice rotation in our core, sort of wake up that T-spine a little bit as well. So on this one, we hinge forward. We get the hamstrings and glutes first. We'll walk out to that tall plank and we add those twists. And we're going to do 3 full laps. So we're going to go ahead and take that away. So we hinge forward, get those hands out to the ground. From here, we're in our tall plank where we step up to that palm and twist to the sky. And we'll switch sides. Then we're going to walk all the way back up to our starting position at the top of our inchworm, and that's 1 of 3. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Make sure we're sticking that butt back to hinge at the start to make sure we get those hamstrings and glutes nice and loose. And we step in and twist. Of course, I forgot to mention, please make sure we're staying hydrated. Have your water bottle with you. You might want to have a sweat towel as well. So if you don't have that with you, you may take a second to pause the video today and grab that to make sure we have that handy for our break. So let's get our last inchworm in. We got another few quick things to warm up with, and we're going to take it away with our first body weight block. So we're walking out for our final inchworm. Step up into that palm, twisting up to the sky, and we're switching sides. We're starting to get loose. We're working our palms back up. So we're going to take 10 lunges with a twist. Forward or reverse, it's your choice. We're going to twist to our high knee side to get that core woken up a little better. So again, you can take a forward or reverse lunge, whichever is comfortable for you. Just make sure we twist to that high knee side. We're going to do 10 total. Continuing to wake up glutes and quads a bit here and getting our core and T-spine involved again as well. So that's 4 of 10. Keep it moving. We've got one more on each side. Here's number 9. And last one, number 10. We're starting to feel it in the glutes and quads now, right? We're getting the blood flowing. So last one here, we're gonna do 20 jacks or 20 reps of some stationary cardio. We're just getting the blood flowing a little bit better, starting to get our heart rate up as we start to warm up our body. So I prefer jumping jacks. That's my favorite cardio exercise, if you don't know already, pretty much. So we're gonna take it away. 20 jacks. And 20, last one, nicely done. We're gonna go ahead and get ready on our mat to start. Our first round, block A, is body weight only. We're gonna start with our core, warming up our extremities, and we'll get through to finish 3 rounds all the way through here. So working on a timer, we don't need to worry about reps so much, so please pick a pace that works for you. Try to maintain movement through the whole round. Body weight round, nice and light, easy stuff. So challenge yourself appropriately, but don't overdo it. We got plenty of work ahead of us here. So we're gonna start today in our tabletop position for bird dogs, 45 seconds. Our goal here, of course, is to kick straight back through the wall behind you to avoid arching our back and punching the fist. So we have a nice straight line from fist to heel, as you see there. So we work as quickly as we can without sacrificing stability, alternating sides for our first round. So we're ready to take it away here in 3, 2, 1, and our clock is ticking. We're gonna get our beeper turned up. So we lock that fist and heel in a nice straight line, keeping our core active, trying to avoid kicking our heel up to the sky so we can make sure we keep that nice line from fist to heel. Again, we can work as quickly as we feel comfortable while we're in a stable position here. So don't sacrifice your stability for speed is the goal here. So as long as we can keep that core active and keep ourselves nice and stable, go ahead and work through these reps. We've got 8 seconds, and then we flip on over till we get our nice our cohort. To the bird dog is the dead bug, which looks nearly identical except we're flat on our back in this supine position, right? So arms and knees are up in the sky. We want to float our hands and heels so that they don't touch the ground, alternating arm and leg. There's our timer. So we extend out into that nice line that we just saw in our bird dog, except we're upside down. So we try and lock that into position for a second or two, floating that heel, floating our hand to keep tension on our muscle bodies here in the back and in our hip flexors and our core. Working at a comfortable speed. If we are fatiguing out of our dead bugs, we can always just modify to bottom half only, whatever is comfortable for you. Leave the arms out if you'd like. We're still getting some core activation. Kick those arms back in whenever you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable, continuing through. There's our timer. From here, we're popping right up onto our feet here. And for this round, we're gonna do a bodyweight squat, and we're adding a toe raise at the bottom of the squat. So we're gonna get these calf muscles involved too. So take a nice wide base. Toes are externally rotated just a bit, and there's our timer. So we squat down, try to get thighs parallel, and we come up on those toes to get our calf muscles involved. So make sure we get a good squeeze. We're also spending a little more time here at the bottom of our squat with that toe raise. So that's keeping what we call TUT, or time under tension, on our quads, making sure we get a full, nice rep out of that squat, right? So we sink right to parallel or close so we can really maintain that tension on the quads here as we work through our round of squat plus toe raise. We really start to feel the burn on this one, right? In those quads as we're squatted, kind of like doing a wall sit, right? We really get that tension in the quads as we sit for a long time in that squatted position. So we're gonna go ahead for this next one. We're going straight into an elbow plank here, down on our mat. So we can come up into tall plank if we need to. Goal is to keep our arms parallel, thumbs up to the sky, or palms down. Our timer has begun. Thumbs up or palms down will help keep our shoulders in a neutral position here. If we clasp our wrists together, we're internally rotating our shoulders, kind of reinforcing a not as so much ideal position for our shoulders, right? So we want to maintain that nice neutral position in the shoulders. Again, you can drop to your knees or come into tall plank if you need to here. Try and keep that tension on the core with our elbows here. We've got 12 seconds left to work. 10 seconds. Keep squeezing. We have that nice wide base with our feet so that we can stay stable here. 4 points of stability. 2, 1, and relax. We're going to go right into our tabletop position from here with a glute kickback. So we kick that 90-degree angle, heel goes straight up toward the ceiling on this one. Keep our core active to avoid that arch in our back. There's our timer. So if we keep our core nice and strong, we'll keep our neutral spine, kicking that foot up to the sky. We've got to be conscious about our core on this one especially to make sure we keep that neutral spine as we push ourselves into a little bit of lumbar extension there. We want to make sure we're nice and stable. 20 seconds left. We're alternating these legs, right? So we're almost there. And relax, nicely done. So from here we'll take a side plank to finish our round. So on our next round through, we'll finish on our other side plank. So pick one side, remember which side you did, and then we'll finish our round. So we've got our option here, elbows and knees or elbows and feet. It's up to you. I'm gonna go elbows and knees today. We can kick that top leg out for some more stability as well. Wanna make sure our shoulder and elbow are stacked here in a nice line, so find that right spot for yourself. Make sure we reach under and feel that nice, strong lat muscle activated for support. We can feel it under our armpit. Arm can be up in the sky or rested right across our chest. Let's try not to weigh ourselves down on that hip, right? So maintaining this side plank on the elbow is totally fine. If you'd like to mod it up to have your feet fully extended, go right ahead. We've got plenty of work, so don't feel like we need to force it too much today, right? Let's keep this nice spot here between knee and elbow. And there's our break. Good, so that's the end of our first round. We're gonna take a quick 20 or 30 seconds here, and we're starting back at the top. We're going back to those bird dogs. So remember, we wanna maintain that core activity. For our first block, just worried about getting our muscles active, getting some contractions in there. We're gonna add some resistance here in just a little bit in block B. So just take about another 10 seconds here, get a quick breath, quick sip of water if you need it. We're starting back at the top of our round with our bird dogs, working our way down. I side planked on my right side, so I want to make sure to do that on the left side now. And then for that third round, we are going to make it we're going to double up on our elbow plank or a tall plank with a modification. So we are ready to go back on our mat with our bird dogs for our first one here. Straight line from heel to fist, kicking that heel straight back to the wall, maintaining that core activity. Try not to overextend the lumbar. So we're going to go ahead and take it away. The clock is ticking officially, kicking that leg out. Locking in that core, locking in that nice straight line from fist to heel. Looking good. So as you may figure out, our bird dog, of course, is named after a hunting dog, right? We look like we're pointing at our prey that we've just struck from the air, right? So nice long point, keeping that core active, moving as quickly as we can without losing stability, right? So keep that core locked. This is a great warm-up exercise, but we can use it like we are today for strength building if we're maintaining our tension in the core. So we need to pay great attention to what we're doing, building strength in that core, keeping it nice and tight. So we're going right to its partner, our dead bug, on our back. Same idea. Float those hands and heels, keeping that tension in our core and really focusing on locking it in. So there's our timer. We got to get in position. Slow and steady here as best you can. Our goal is to focus on the tension, not reps, right? That's why we like this timer. We're not rep focused, we're not counting here. So just take a focus on keeping that belly button tucked in, keeping our core active through the whole movement, maintaining that tension at our joints as we shift between each position. If we're doing this right, we should be feeling some fatigue even with no weight, right? We're having just body weight here, arms and legs. Feeling that core doing a lot of work here to maintain our stability as we shift our center of mass and move our limbs around. So good. We're feeling like we're getting some exercise now, right? So we're popping back up on our feet here for our squat plus toe raise, trying to sink down into parallel, keeping tension on the quads, and we're getting our calves involved too, getting that flexion in our ankle. So our timer is ticking, squatting down into that nice position, come up onto the toes, and then raise out of that squat, squeezing those glutes and everything at the top. So keeping that time under tension, kind of in a wall, combining like our wall sit with the squat, right? So when we wall sit, we stay in that flex position, quads are working hard, no different here, right? So we sink into that squat. As we come up on the toes, we're maintaining a lot of tension in the quads. So almost there. There's our timer. Perfect. We are back down on our mat for our elbow plank. Remembering, thumbs up to the sky. So as you see, I have a nice neutral shoulders. If we rotate in, we're changing that shoulder position. So keep those palms down or thumbs up. Get a nice wide base with your feet here. 4-point plank. So we should have our feet at about shoulder width, right? Squeezing our glutes, core, and quads. Calves as well. It's a full body plank, right? It's not just for our core here. So we should feel strong on our shoulders. Elbows and shoulders are stacked. And we're squeezing. If we need to drop to our knees or come into tall plank, we do that. Keep the tension on the core. We've got less than 20 seconds to go. You guys are doing great. Stick with it. We're approaching 10 seconds. Keep squeezing. We're working hard. 5, 4, keep it up. Almost there. And relax. Nicely done. We're coming back into our tabletop position here now for our kickbacks. Maintaining core tension. This is similar to our bird dog. We're adding a little bit more glute contraction now. So focusing on the glutes a bit here. And here we go with our kickback. Driving that heel straight up to the sky. Core stays active, right? So we want to keep that lumbar spine in a neutral or what we would consider slightly flexed, right? So, slightly extended. A very small arch is okay. We don't want it to be completely flat, but we're aiming for that spine to stay in a comfortable position. So we're continuing to drive those heels up to the sky while the core stays active. All the while we're being conscious of that low back position here. 5 seconds left, finishing strong. We're getting ready to side plank on whichever side we did the opposite last time. I side planked on my right, so I'm going to my left elbow this time. We'll take it again from elbows and knees. If you're comfortable, kick that second foot out on the bottom. We're just fine in our elbow and knee position here. And we're up. We want to make sure we get that elbow and shoulder stacked. We're feeling under our armpit for that nice big lat muscle that's active, keeping our upper body and core stable. Of course, top leg is out. Bottom leg can be extended too if you'd like. And we've got arm up in the air. We can rest that right across our shoulder there. We try to avoid weighing our hip down with the hand, right? So pick what's comfortable for you and stick with it. We've got 20 seconds left. Keep holding. Keep that knee driving into the mat to maintain that activity on our medial glute, keeping that rigidity all the way from our shoulder down to our knee here. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and relax. Nicely done. Drop them to our side here. That's the end of round 2. So we're gonna go ahead and take our quick 20-second break here. Go ahead and wipe your sweat and grab your drink if you need it. I'm gonna do so right now. And we'll get started with round 3 of our body weight here before we pick it up into our heavy compounds. We're gonna go for a little bit of our heavier weight. So we're gonna ramp it up. We're shortening our round just slightly, working on moving some big resistance here to build some strength. So go ahead and grab that drink and we're gonna go ahead and start our 3rd round of body weight before we take it away. Okay, we're we're ready to go. One final round through our body weight here before we hit our heavy compound block. So back on our mat for one more set of bird dogs, really owning it on that lock-in of the core. We got to make it work, right? We're already sweating and working hard. We haven't even gotten our weights out yet, right? So one more round through. Let's take it away in our bird dog position. Nice and tight, locking in that core as we go. Starts at 3, 2, 1, and clock is ticking. Bird dogs are underway. Lock that position in. Really feel it lock in. Lock your knee out, lock your elbow, drive that line all the way through. Imagine we're pushing a line straight through the wall in front of and behind us. We should see that nice rigidity. Core stays tight. Let's pick up the speed here if we can, if you're comfortable. Again, we're not sacrificing stability for speed. So if we're wobbly a little bit, that means we're not stable. So we need to bring it back a little bit and focus on that core activation and mind-muscle connection rather than our speed. That's why we got our timer today. Work at your own pace, whatever's comfortable for you. Nicely done. We're flipping over for one more set of our dead bug. A little bit more challenging of the pair, right? Maintaining that core the whole time. Modding arms out if we need to and just using our legs. Otherwise, we're slowly extending each one opposite side, feeling that tension. Slow and steady here, keeping our core active, keeping all those hip flexors and shoulder muscles really, we're really making them own it, right? Keeping that nice and tight. We're feeling some fatigue maybe set in. Keep doing your best. Slow the pace down if we're fatiguing. There's our break. Nice finish. We're up on our feet, working through our rounds. We're back to our toe raise with our squat, keeping those quads nice and active here. So we got 3 seconds. Get those feet set nice and wide, right outside of hip width. Toes are externally rotated. Timer begins. We can sink down, raise up onto those toes. We're sinking to get to parallel if we can, as low as we can go comfortably. Feeling that tension on the quads, raising up, squeezing for a second, making sure those calf muscles really get a good burn as well here. Looking good. We got 15 seconds left on the clock. Keep coming up on those toes. Legs are feeling the burn. Good, nicely done. 12 seconds, we're back onto our elbow plank here, finishing out the round. A few more. We're starting to feel nice and loose. We're elbow planking. Thumbs up to the sky, nice stable, neutral shoulders, up on our toes, full body rigidity here, right? So make sure we keep everything squeezed. Activity in our full body, from our toes up to our shoulders. Squeezing everywhere. Those toes are at a nice wide shoulder width base for some stability. If we want to challenge ourselves, bring those feet together. We'll go from 4 points to 3, which makes us a little less stable. We've got 10 seconds to go before we raise up into tabletop. Keep finishing strong here. 4 seconds. Squeeze it out. Nicely done. Dropping into our tabletop for some glutes. Kicking back straight up to the sky. Keeping our core active. Just like our bird dog on the bottom half. Except we're driving our heels straight up to the sky now, getting a little bit more contraction in the glute today than the bird dog. We've got to keep our core active to maintain that spinal stability. Keep driving that heel up. Keep your belly button tucked in. Heel goes straight up to the sky. 15 seconds. And we're finished. Good. For our last core, off our side planks, we did one of each side. We're going to go flat on our back into what we call our banana or our hollow hold position. You can do this for small reps. Otherwise, we try and just hold that open. We call it a banana because we're very slightly curved, just like a banana, right? So hold it for as long as you can, drop for a second, and come right back up into it. Try and hold for the whole round if you can. Keep it tight. Core's working hard on this one. We're doing great. Less than 20 seconds to go. Over halfway. Keep squeezing that core nice and tight. Again, we can drop if we need to. Come right back up into that banana pose. We got 7 seconds. Let's fight it out. We got our break coming up. We're moving on. Keep squeezing. Don't give up. There's our break. Nicely done. Go ahead and hit the mat and just relax for a second. We're going to quickly adjust our timer to shorten that down to a 40-second round for our heavy compound work here. Go ahead and take a quick break. Grab your drink if you need it. We're also dropping into 4 rounds. We have 4 basic compounds, so a little bit less work today after our first initial round. So go ahead and continue taking that break as we adjust our timer here. 40 seconds on the clock, 20-second break to give ourselves a little bit more recovery from these heavy work rounds. So again, there's also only 4 rounds, so we'll get through a little bit quicker and we'll move on to our third block, our unilateral single-sided round, right? So we're getting ready to go. Take another final quick second if you need it. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and get our heavier set of dumbbells now. We have our 4 basic compounds, which is our row, our squat, our deadlift, and our press. So we'll modify these a little bit as we go through each round. We have 3 rounds, so we'll change our press position. For the most part, the rest of them are just what the name implies, right? So we're going to start with our row today, our bent over row. So we're going to have that soft bend at the knee, hinging at the hip, shooting way back. We're getting big pulls straight up from there. So grab those heavy dumbbells. We got 40 seconds on the clock, and we're going to hit those here in just a second. So we're going to get into position. I'm going to get ready to get our timer going. So we're starting our bent over row, heavy resistance, compound pull here in 3, 2, 1, and clock is ticking. So we're in that hinged position. We're getting a big pull and squeeze from the ground up, making sure we focus that pull with a big squeeze at the back. So work as quickly as you're comfortable here. 20 seconds in, so we're halfway through the round. We're fatiguing quicker, right? We've got a lot of resistance now, so we have a slightly shorter round, 4 compounds instead of our 6 that we just worked with in block A. So get a few more pulls. Got 6 seconds left. Get 2, 3 more reps in. There's 1, 2, and we'll finish with that one. So we drop those weights. 20-second break here. So we're going to drop to 1 weight. It's up to you how you do this. I'm going to drop to 1 weight for a goblet squat for my first round of squatting. So I'm going to hold 1 weight right under my chin, just squat into that deep squat position as best I can, getting close to parallel. Round starts in 2, 1, and there's our timer. So we've got that goblet position, right? Squatting down. We've got some resistance now to drive against on the way up. Big squeezes all the way to the top, holding that weight nice and upright here. Finish strong, less than 10 seconds. Keep driving against that weight. We're going to keep a lot of tension on our lower body because we're going straight from there into our deadlift. So get that extra weight back. We're back into our hinged position here. So we'll do our Romanian style deadlift here. We're going to track the weight right along our thighs, shooting our hips back. Feet are at about hip width. Good, here's our timer. So hip width, knees stay slightly bent. We shoot to just about mid-calf, 2/3 calf, and then a big glute squeeze to pull back up. So keeping that flat back, weights stay right by our shins and thighs, and pull right up right into our standing position. Once we get below the knee there, try and get below the knee, like I said, 2/3 of the way up the leg or halfway to mid-calf. Wherever you're comfortable with, we try to keep that neutral flat back the whole time. And we're squeezing big time and the glutes to pull up out of that position. 2, 1, and break. Nicely done. For our first one, for our press, we're doing overhead press. So we'll keep those weights right in hand. We're kicking them right up here. Lock that core in, get a nice stable base with your feet, and we're driving weights up overhead. We've got 5 seconds to go before we start here. Get ready to go. 3, 2, 1, and weights are up. Big squeezes up overhead. We're working hard. Core's got to stay especially stable here. As we work with weight overhead, we've got to have a stable base, guys. So keep that belly button active. Keep our core active. Big weight overhead. Finishing the round, we got 15 seconds left. Almost there. There's our last one. Good. So that is the end of our first round of 3 with our heavy compounds. We're starting to add some resistance and feeling good. So we're taking about 30, and then we're going to do round 2 of our compounds again. So take your sweat towel and get a drink of water if you need it, right? We're starting to get sweaty now. We're working up a sweat, moving some weight now in block B. So we're going to take that away again, starting at the top. Our row and our squat won't change. Well, our row won't change. You can modify your squat however you'd like. You can go overhead. Stick to body weight if the resistance is too much. Those ones won't change. We'll change our press, but the deadlift, and for the most part, those won't change. You can go into sumo for a round as well as you like, so we can open up those hips and focus on the inner thigh a little bit. So there's our 30 seconds is up. We're ready to go back in our bent over row position here. Let's get our weights ready to go. And here we are. Back at the timer, starting in 3, 2, 1, and clock is ticking on our bent over rows. So let's sink into that nice hinge that we were just doing with our deadlifts. And we're rowing straight into our back. Big back squeeze. Really making our shoulder blades work here. And those back muscles for big pulls. We got less than 20. Keep pulling with me. Raise up out of that hinge if you need to. We got 11 seconds, we can finish strong. We're getting a lot of leg work today, right, with this compound. So 4 seconds, get another rep or 2 in. And there's our break, okay. So we're gonna drop one weight again for that goblet squat. Right under our chin, whatever you're comfortable with. If you'd like to keep 2 weights by your ears, like we're talking on the phone, for your squats, you can do so. We're going to stick with our goblet modification for now. So there's our timer. Clock is ticking. Hips are nice and wide. Sinking into that deep squat with the goblet. And if we want to revisit that toe raise from our first round, we can do so. Now that we're under even more tension, right? It's going to add a level of difficulty. So do whatever's comfortable for you. We're just sticking with our goblet squat. For you overachievers, go ahead and throw that toe raise back in there. We got 12 seconds to go. Focused on tension on the legs. We got plenty of work again, right? So don't overdo it. If you want to add that in, feel free. Just be advised we've got plenty of work. So there's our break. We're going to get that other dumbbell back in the mix here for those deadlifts. Nice and slow and controlled. Again, we're working on a timer, so no need to shoot for fast reps here. Working on slow, controlled movements to build strength and control. So feet are at hip width, toes are pointed forward. Weights are painting our legs. We want to paint like we're using a paint roller, right? Keeping that right along our leg. Squeezing big pulls on the way up. So we dip right below the knee, big calf. If you can make it, squeeze the glutes at the top. So nice and slow on the way down. Think about 3 seconds on the way down and then 1 second on the way up, or 0 seconds, right? go down, slow, loading that muscle, and then big explosion. Release all that tension that we're building as we slow down. And then boom, big pull. 10 seconds, let's get a couple more, nice, good, slow. 3 seconds, 1 second pull. 3, 2, 1, and pull. And that's our last one. Nicely done. So for our next press, round 2, we're gonna take a floor press. So we're gonna go flat on our back here, weights in hand. We can leave our feet flat on our mat, and you have a choice to do neutral grip, palms are facing each other, and we can flare those elbows out just a little bit for our floor press. So there's our timer. If our elbows are out, we want to go about 30 to 45 degrees off our torso. We don't want to go fully flared at 90 at the elbow. That'll put some stress on our shoulder that we don't want. So think about 45-degree angle here. My dumbbells are kind of coming to like a V position. And that's how we know we're in that nice zone of our angles. So, of course, we can stay in that neutral position and press straight up as well if you'd like. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of flare to it as well, out on the side. Slow and steady, keeping those shoulder blades safe, good. And there's our second break. We're working our way through our resistance round, guys. Compounds with resistance, building some strength. Nicely done. So we're back to about 30 seconds on the clock for a quick break. We're going through one more round of our 3 rounds of compounds. So get ready to work one more time, and then we're going to break off from our compounds, and we're going to go through what we call our unilateral, or our single-sided exercises, where we're going to be focusing a lot on our core work. And still, we've got core's our theme through the whole class, right? So we're going to keep that focus, but we'll use single leg stuff, single arm stuff, really focusing on that opposite side work. So grab a quick drink, wipe your sweat. We're going to take it through round 3 of our heavy compounds before we move on. Okay, we're ready to go. Heavy dumbbells in place. So we're getting to those rows again, right? So bent over row one more time through 40 seconds. Tension on our posterior chain as we're in that flexed, hinged position, right? So we're ready to go back to our bent over rows in 3, 2, 1, and clock is ticking. We're up on our feet, hinged forward, big rows, up into the armpits. Keep that core active so our back stays neutral. You've got plenty of tension in our posterior chain. We're working hard. 15 seconds. Let's keep it working. Here we go. Last 10 seconds on our big compound rows. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Break time. Drop those weights out if you need to shake them out. We're going to kick one to the side anyways. Last set of goblet squats. Working under our chin. Again, we can modify and add that toe raise if we want a little extra spiciness to those. 4 seconds, get that weight up under your chin, goblet style. We're ready to sink into that squat. Here we go, there's our timer. Sinking into that squat. Hey, look, we're on our last round. We can modify that with a pulse as well. Keeping that time under tension, right? That's our goal. So do whatever you choose. Stick with the classic goblet squat here. You'll notice my hips are wide, my toes are externally rotated, knees are going out wide. You guys know all the good cues, right? So mix in a pulse every so often if you'd like. Almost there, under 10 seconds. Add a pulse, add a toe raise, whatever you want, mix it up. Finishing strong. And there's our timer. We're gonna grab that other weight again. Take your 20 seconds here. Back to our last set of deadlifts. So if we'd like to go sumo style with one weight, right, we can kick those feet nice and wide and sumo it if you'd like. We're gonna stick with our classic for the video's sake. Improvise at home if you'd like. Here's our timer, right? So we're kicking those hips back for our hinge, painting our legs nice and slow on the way down, big pull on the way up. We gotta keep working. 15 seconds, nice and slow on the descent. Flat, neutral spine, big pull, squeezing to get those once we dip down below our knee into our shin range, right? 5 seconds, let's get one more nice and slow. 3, 2, 1, and big pull, finishing right on time, nicely done. For our last push or press option, for the video's sake, we are gonna take a push-up to keep that tension on our chest. Feel free to jump back to an overhead press, that floor press, whatever you're comfortable with here. Elevated push-up, if we have our bench or our tabletop, we can use that elevated push-up. We're just classic push-up, pressing however we can. Our clock is ticking, so take it away with our final round of pressing, however you see fit. 20 seconds left on our press. We're keeping lots of tension in our chest if we're doing our push-ups. We're still getting plenty of good pressing tension from other ways as well. So finish however you're comfortable. We got 6 seconds. Let's get a couple more reps in. 4, 3, 2, 1, and there's our break. Well done. Great job. That is the end of our 3 rounds of our compound. So we're taking a quick 30-45 again. We're moving on to our first round, our unilateral. Before we get close to finishing up today, we're adjusting our timer back to 45 seconds. And we've got 4 rounds because we need to do left and right, so we go through each one twice. So we're gonna do everything we do on our left side, and then we'll do everything on the right side. We gotta repeat them both times, right? So take this quick break while I modify our timer here. We're jumping back up to 6 exercises, and we're going into that 45-second range again with just a 15-second break. So we're shaving off our break time again. We're ready to finish strong. Our last 3 rounds here, our last 4 rounds, our block C, our unilateral work. So we're starting with a half kneeling press. We just got through our press, right, but we gotta keep it going. So we're gonna get our lighter weight for these unilateral ones. So if you've got that second set of dumbbells, drop it down. We're using a little bit less of our body, right, so we can drop our resistance. So I'm doing left side first. My right knee is up in that half kneeling position, and we're pressing straight up to the sky. So let's get that lighter weight ready to go in that half kneeling position. So fold your mat up if you need to. Give yourself a little bit of cushion on that knee if we need to, and we're ready to go with our half kneeling press. Again, with our half kneeling position, we've changed our base. We're not stable, so we got to keep that core active as we press that elbow. So 45 seconds starts now. We're pressing half kneeling press on our left side. Belly button's got to stay active, and we'll really feel that when we're up above our head. We're getting wobbly, right, because our center of mass is way higher than normal, and we've got to keep it stable on the lower side. So open up that hip. The more wider we are, the more stable we'll be, right, as our base widens. So we've dropped our weight here. Lots of tension on the press, right? So keep it active. 10 seconds to go. A few more presses. And we're gonna utilize our bench or our riser, whatever you have next. So single leg bridge on our ottoman, our riser, our deck, our couch, whatever you have. If you don't have one, strive for a single leg bridge just on your mat, flat on your back in a normal glute bridge position. Otherwise, we're here. All the work is on my left leg, left side. So shoulder blades are on the bench, and we're raising up. We need to kick that foot out a little bit. Good, so we have that nice position. So driving up. Plenty of tension on that glute and quad. Rest if you need it. Keep driving that up. We can come all the way down and rest in between each rep. If you want to try and float your butt, keep that tension on the leg the whole time. Ten seconds to go for this leg. Remember, everything on one side to start here. So 4, 3, we're feeling that burn, right? Good, and there's our break. That's a tough one. We're going back to our half kneeling position. on our left side again, and now we're doing our lateral raise out to the side. So we can have a break in our wrist, leading with our elbow on the way up, break in the wrist. So you'll notice my arm is not locked out. That's gonna make it just a little bit more maintainable, easier on the shoulder. There's not quite as much torque on that shoulder joint. Again, we can kick our foot out if we want more stability. We're out here, less stable as we bring that base in more narrow. So find what works for you. Building strength in the shoulders for these half kneeling positions. Again, we gotta keep that core active as well, right? So we're under 20 seconds. Keep it working. We're really gonna beat up our shoulders these last few rounds. We're finishing strong. Good, there's our break. So after that, we're popping up for our wall supported, or wall or chair, whatever you need some support. We're doing our single leg deadlift this time. So we're using that wall for support so we can load the pattern a little better. And there's our timer. So we're wall supported, we kick that weight down and come back up. So we can typically do this single leg deadlift without any support if we're working on stability, but we can use some support on the wall or a chair to help overload this pattern a little bit and help build some strength without having our balance be that limiting factor. That's what we're working on here today, right? So don't be afraid to support yourself. Just depends on your goal. However, we're targeting that movement, how to be. So keep using that wall for support. Everything on the left side, finishing up this round, right? Good, break time. Back into our half kneeling position, and this time we're chopping. So we're gonna hold weight with two hands, chopping up in a diagonal starting from our left hip. Here we go. Chopping in a nice, slow and controlled pattern. Core is active, shoulders are feeling it. Take it slow. We've got plenty of work still, so working at our own pace, keeping that movement going through the whole round. We got less than 15 to go. We're popping on for one more lower body before we come back to our other side here. So 5 seconds, get one or two more chops in. Upper body's working hard. Good, there's our break. Our last one on our feet is a lateral lunge to that one side. We're going to the left side, right? So grab a weight, hold on to the weight however you need to, whatever's comfortable for you. And we're gonna keep that tension on the left side the whole time as we step out. So we step out, hinging the hips way back, and coming back up to that upright position. We're keeping that tension on the quad, on the left side, left glute, left quad, working hard everywhere, sinking those hips back into that lunge position. We got 10 seconds to go. We got a couple more reps, then we're gonna get onto our other side here. Good, break time. 20, 30 seconds. We're starting at the top. In our half kneeling press, everything on the right side now. So get ready to go. We're repeating. This is what's gonna finish us out. We got to get our right side, and then we're hitting one more time on the left and right. So taking our break here. 5 or 10 seconds left. We're getting ready into that half kneeling position. Everything on the right now. So we're opening up that hip however we feel we need to, right? So not very stable, kind of stable. Very stable, right? We're widening our base. So pick what's comfortable for you. Right side, half kneeling press on the right arm in 3, 2, 1, and go. Clock is ticking. We're pressing. Core is active. My front foot is as wide as I need it to be for stability. You can play with that as the round goes through. If we're feeling wobbly, open it up a little bit. If it's too easy, bring it in maybe, right? Play with your positioning as best you can. We're keeping this tension on the shoulder as we press. Unilateral, lighter weight, more reps, more time. 12 seconds to go. And for here, we're jumping back into that bridge position. If you can, grab our couch, our riser, whatever you've got, something you can lean those shoulders on. If not, we're just gonna try that bridge from the ground, right? That single leg bridge. Whatever is comfortable for you, whatever is accessible for you, take that. So we're on our right leg now, so tension's on the right leg. Find a good spot for that foot. Butt dips down. Slow and steady here, plenty of time in the round, so. Focus on the big glute squeeze. If we poke our glute, we should have a nice, firm glute there. Plenty of tension back here on our glutes as we extend that position, right? So rest it if you need to. Set your butt down for just a second. We got 15 seconds to go. Then we pop back up. Keep driving that glute. Driving that hip up to the sky. We're bringing our hips from this crease position, trying to flatten them out, right? So 5 seconds. And there's our break. Back to our half kneeling position. We've got our lateral raise on the right side. So here we are. We're playing with our foot position to open up that base. And off we go. So we're leading with our elbow, and our wrist is slightly broken, right? So we're not locking that arm out. Just makes it way harder for us. Puts a ton of torque on our shoulder joint. So keep that slight bend. Coming up with a break in the wrist. Still getting plenty of tension on those deltoids, so don't worry about that. We've got plenty of work, right? So don't overdo it in one single round. We're working hard today. Ten seconds to go. We got our shoulders burning. We're feeling it. We're gonna come up to our wall or our support source for that single leg deadlift next. There we go. So single leg deadlift on the right leg now. So we gotta have our wall or our support, whatever we're using, and then we're hinging forward on one leg. My weight is in the opposite hand, right? So I'm hinging right leg, weight's on the left side. Using that support as much as we need it. The support is great to overload the pattern, right? If we want to work on a little more stability, take out the wall support, but let's just focus on getting a nice clean hinge movement in that single leg, really loading the muscle, getting down into that position. Change your footing if you need it. If you're not feeling comfortable, adjust as best you can. We got 15 seconds. 10 seconds to go, keep it going. I'm on my mat as well, so that adds even a little bit more instability because we're on a softer surface, right? So play with your surface as well. There's our last one there. We're gonna go back into our half kneeling position. We're working on that core position in our half kneel, right? For our chop. So continuing with the upper body tension here in 3, 2, 1. Starting low on the right, chopping up across our body. Slow and controlled here. Keep that core stable. We're going for form and consistency and all that, not reps, right? That's why we have our timer. So taking it nice and slow. "15 seconds. Let's keep it working. 5 seconds. Nicely done. Up on our feet. Good job, guys. We got to finish these lateral lunges on the right side. And we've got one more lap through of each, and we'll finish strong with one more set of our unilateral, and we'll cool it down. So we're on our right side lunges. Here we go. Lunging to the right, hinging this, hips way back. Tons of tension on our right glute, our right quad. Working really hard today, right? 10 seconds to go. Keep working. Let's go. Good. 30 seconds on the clock. We got to get through one more set on each side, ladies and gentlemen. Great job. Keep working. We're almost there. Wipe that sweat. We're taking our quick break here. Get a drink. Keep that hydration level proper. One more round on each side before we call it a day today. So we're giving it about 10-15 more seconds, and we're starting back to our left side, everything on the left side. So here, that's the end of our timer. Back to the left, half kneeling press. Find that nice base with your hips and feet. 3, 2, 1, and go. Clock is ticking. We are pressing. Slow and steady here. Core stays active, making sure we're stable overhead. We're feeling the fatigue. 10 seconds or less. We're gonna get to that riser for our bridges again here. There we go. Great job. Left leg bridging. If we have an elevated position, we'll take it. If we're not, we're using our mat, right? So let's get down. Slow and steady here. These have a lot of tension. So slow and steady is our goal. Trying to drive that hip crease way up to the sky. Taking the break if we need it. Just enough time to reset that fatigue level a little bit. We can work these in hovering groups of 5 so we keep the tension high through 5. And then just let our butt touch and recover for that last set of 5 here. Or however many we get till the round ends. We're almost there, less than 10. There's our break, nicely done. Back to our half kneel. And we're on our left side for our lateral raise, right? So we have that break in our elbow and wrist. $20 seconds to go. Keep it moving as best we can, right? We're fatigued. This is our last round through on the left, so less than 10. Keep it working. We're feeling the burn. 3, 2, 1, and drop it. Shake that arm out if you need to. We're up on our feet, wall supported, deadlift on the left side. We're going to kick out our mat and use a more stable surface for this last set through on each leg. Support it on the wall if you need it. Hinging, using that wall for support. That muscle nice and loaded. We got 20 seconds or less. Keep that pattern loaded up nice and strong. Soft bend in the knee, hinging that way forward. 8 seconds to go. There we go, nicely done. Almost through our left side. We are going to take it back into our half kneel for our left side one more time on this chop. Starting low on the left, chopping up to the sky in that diagonal pattern. There's our round. We're feeling fatigued, right? We've about had it. Core and upper body are screaming at us. We got to get through one more round. We got about 6 minutes of work left, guys. We're almost to the end. Take it nice and slow. Slow and steady here. Less than 20 seconds on our chop, and we've got our lateral lunges before we finish our final block on the right side today. Five seconds, 1 or 2 more reps, and there's our timer. We're working hard. We got to get up for lateral lunges on the left leg before we enter our final block of work. Starting in 3, 2, 1, and we are ready to lunge it out. Keep working, sticking that hip way back there, right? Making sure we keep those glutes and quads on that side, working hard. Keep driving. 15 seconds left on this leg. We've got one more block to finish up before we cool down. We'll get a nice quick stretch in. Good. We're taking a quick 20 or 30 and we're going to enter our last block, our last 5 minutes or so of exercise today before we cool down. Wipe that sweat one more time. Grab your last quick sip of water before we jump right into it and finish. Hey, let's give it everything we got here for this last 5 minutes, right? We're almost there. We've gotten a ton of strength work today. We're feeling good. Nice, well-rounded, full body exercise. So let's go ahead and take it away. No time to waste. Finish up this last 5 minutes of work here. So we're on our right side for that press, finding our sweet spot with our hip here in this half kneeling position. Core stays active. We press in 3, 2, 1, and we're pressing. Weight is up, core is tight. Finishing strong, final 15 seconds, working hard. Got to keep that core tight, we're pressing overhead. 10 seconds to go. It's our last round, let's give it everything we got, don't quit. 6, 5, 4, let's go. Well done. Good, and there's our break. We're on to our single leg bridge on the right side, everything on the right. Last time, remember we can think about this in little groups of 5, little mini sets. Hover it for 5 seconds, and then drop our butt if we need to. These will fatigue us pretty quick, right? So, and we're just using our mat for a regular bridge if we don't have anything to elevate on. So there's our 5, we can rest our butt. 4 and 5. We got one more little mini set of 5, right, if we need to. We're resting. We got 12 seconds. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Last ones. 4 and 5. Man, we can feel the burn on those, right? So let's get back to our half kneel. We've got our lateral raise on our right arm. So find that base, sweet spot, breaking the elbow and wrist. And there we go. We've been working hard today. We're gonna feel it, right? Slow it down if you need to. It's our last few rounds. Less than 20 seconds, here we go. Take that break for a second if you need it and jump right back in. We're feeling it. We've worked out for a long time, right? Less than 10, let's go, keep it up, come on. 5, 4, see what you got left in the tank. 2, 1, and break. Up on our feet, wall supported deadlift on our right leg only. Keeping that core active, loading our plant leg. That right leg is gonna work hard. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Nice and steady here. Dropping that weight right down toward the toe. We've got 15 seconds left. Reset our foot if we need to finish it out nice and strong for those last few reps here. 3 seconds, last rep, all the way down. Good, let's get into our half kneel for our chop. Then we pop up for our lateral lunges. Last time in our half kneeling position today. On the right side, low on the right, chops up to the left, not diagonal. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Let's finish our last 2 rounds strong. Rest it if you need to at the bottom. Let that fatigue wear off. We can shoot for mini groups of 5 on this one as well. Last 15 seconds here before we pop up on our feet for the final round. Finish it out strong, 10 seconds to go. And there's our break. Our final minute of work is upon us. Up on our feet, lateral lunges on the right side before we cool it down. Let's finish it strong, guys. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Stick those glutes back, big hinge. Tension on the right quad, right leg, right adductors on our inner thigh there. Everything is working hard. Left adductors are working as well as we stretch them with that outstretched leg on our left side. We're trying to keep tall shoulders as we sink back and shoot that butt back behind us. We're almost there. It's our final 20 seconds of work today. We've put in a ton of work today in this class. Guys, way to go. Way to stick it out. Thanks for being here. You guys are doing great. Final 10 seconds. Let's do it. And there's our last rep. Way to go. Give yourselves a round of applause. We got a great workout in there. Let's take a quick cool down here. We're going to start with our hamstrings. We did a lot of bridging, a lot of deadlifting, a lot of stuff like that. So we're going to do a kickstand stretch for that deadlift. We're going to kick 1 foot forward for that hamstring, excuse me. Kick that 1 foot forward. We're keeping our tall shoulders and we're leaning forward, feeling that stretch right there. So we're going to do about 20 seconds on each leg. Keeping that back neutral, right, so we feel that big pull on that lead leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on back up. We're going to switch that. So kickstand on the other side. Get that right leg out. Keep that chest nice and tall as we drop forward. Feeling that big stretch on the hammies of our front leg, right? Almost there. Keep holding it. Lean that chest forward even more. Feel that stretch deepen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on back up. We're going to take a wide base. We don't have to go too wide. Just open those hips up a little bit, and we're going to reach over the top. Feel like we're stretching out our side of our hips. Our lats on our big side there, up into the shoulder a little bit. And we're holding for 20 here as well. Three, two, one, and let's go ahead and raise back up to center, and we're going to switch sides. So other arm up to the sky. Big 20 seconds. Drive that hand way up there. Feel that stretch all the way from our armpit all the way down to our hip, right? So keep driving. 10 seconds to go. All right, we're going to stay here in our wide base. Open it up a little more. We'll sink down to the middle. We'll hold in the middle for about 15 or so. And we'll kind of lean to each side a little bit here. All right, so pick one leg, kind of lean over to that side, reach down toward that toe. Feeling a stretch on the hammy and the inner thigh there as well, right? 15 seconds on each side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go ahead and pick it up, switch to the other side. 15 seconds on this side. We'll hit our mat for just a very brief set of a couple more stretches, and then we'll call it a day. We've got about 10 seconds left over here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on back up. We're going to hit our mat quickly for a quick child pose to help stretch out our shoulders and lats and our upper back and our T-spine. So we're sinking right back onto those heels. Arms are way out in front of you. Sinking our forehead into the mat, and we're going to hold for about 20 seconds here. About 10 seconds left. Keep those palms way out in front of you. Shoulder blades are stretched nicely here. Head down to the mat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Let's come on back up into that table just for a second. From here, we'll go right onto our back, and we're going to do a quick knee pull for 15 or 20 on each side. Just finish relaxing those glutes, quads, and hamstrings, all kind of all in one, a 3-in-1 stretch here. 15 or 20 seconds on each side, and then we'll call it a day. Five, 4, 3, 2. Go ahead and get ready to switch. Let's switch legs. Big 15 or 20 on this leg. Big squeeze. Pull that knee all the way up to your chest. Try and keep your other leg flat to the ground so we get some nice separation in our groin area there. Inner hips, inner thighs. Getting a good stretch as well. 10, 9, 8. Keep squeezing. Big squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right. For the last few seconds, I like to take this nice, call these lumbar trunk twists or lumbar rotations. We got feet together, knees are together, and we just very slightly hang knees to one side for 2 to 3 seconds, and then we'll switch sides and just do a few reps of this here, and that helps us kind of relax those hips and low back that we've done a lot of squatting and rowing and hinged positions and all other kinds of fun stuff. So take 3 or 4 on each side. We'll do 3 on each side. So here's number 2 to the right. We'll go shift over here for number 4 total. Second one on the left side. Let's get 1 more on each side. We really like the way this feels, opening up the back side of that hip, right? So last one on each side, 1 more pair. We hang down nice and low. Feel that stretch on our hips and glutes and back. Last one, sink to the left. We'll spend about 3 to 5 seconds here. And relax. Nicely done. That's all we have today. That was a great class, guys. Thanks for being here with me. If we want a little more for our shoulder, we can pull our shoulders across there, pull our arms up overhead. We wanted to focus a lot of that stretching and recovery on our hips and low back. We did tons of squatting, bridging, hinged position for our row, all that stuff. So that was our Strictly Strength. Please leave me a like and a comment. Let me know, what you liked and what you didn't like. I love hearing from you, as you know. Hope to see you guys back at the fitness center here at Aspiria soon. Until then, have a great day. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.